Hello, educators, innovators, and AI enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Miseducation of AI in Education, the podcast where we debunk myths, embrace possibilities, and reshape the narrative around artificial intelligence in our schools. I'm your host, Sonia Hightower Rout, certified AI consultant, certified AI-powered instructional design professional, and a lifelong advocate for empowering educators with the tools to work smarter, not harder. Today we're tackling a big one: cheating or teaching. There's a growing concern that AI is turning students into cheaters, giving them easy shortcuts to bypass the learning process. But here's the truth. AI, when used thoughtfully, can actually promote deeper learning, creativity, and critical thinking. Let's dive into how AI can shift from being seen as a crutch to being embraced as a powerful teaching tool. AI isn't just a tool for answers. It's actually a tool for exploration, creativity, and personalized learning. But to understand its full potential, we need to reframe how we think about it. Here are 3 powerful ways that AI can transform learning in our classrooms. Number 1, encouraging critical thinking. Now, AI doesn't just spit out answers. When used properly, it invites better questions. For example, when students use a tool like ChatGPT to help with a research paper, they have to interact with the AI by asking clear, specific, and well thought out prompts. This process inherently develops their critical thinking skills. Okay, so let's look at this scenario. Imagine a student working on an essay about climate change. Okay? Instead of asking the AI to write the essay for them, they could ask questions like, what are the main causes of climate change? Can you provide counter arguments to the idea that humans are the sole contributors? This type of interaction forces the student to evaluate the responses, decide what's relevant, and synthesize their thoughts into their final work. AI then becomes a collaborator, not a replacement. Number 2, sparking creativity. Now, AI tools can open doors to creativity by offering students fresh perspectives they may not have considered. Imagine an art student using AI to generate inspiration for a project, or a creative writing class brainstorming plot twists with AI assistance. Here's an example. A middle school teacher asks her students to write a short story, but allowed them to use AI to brainstorm settings and character ideas. One student created a story set in a futuristic underwater city, an idea sparked by AI, but they had to add their own unique twists to the plot and character dynamics. AI helped break the ice of creativity, but the final product was 100% their own. The key takeaway here is that AI doesn't do the work for them, but rather it provides a springboard for their ideas. And here's way number 3, providing instant personalized feedback. One of the most powerful ways AI can support learning is by providing immediate feedback. Imagine a student working on a math problem, right? AI can analyze their steps in real time and point out where they went wrong. This instant correction helps students learn from their mistakes far more effectively than waiting for a teacher's feedback days later. AI tools like Grammarly already do this for writing. Students can see where they've made grammatical errors, receive suggestions for better phrasing, and even learn about the why behind the changes. It's a teachable moment. embedded directly into the writing process. So here we are, teachers. Think about how this lightens your load while empowering students to become more self-reliant. Isn't that what we're all looking for? Everyone's talking about education being more student-centered than teacher-centered, and AI is the perfect ally to help bring that to fruition. Now, let's address this shortcut mentality. Now, let's tackle this mindset head on. If students can just use AI to do the work, aren't they taking shortcuts? Well, here's how we change that narrative. Number one, we have to teach ethical use. We don't ban calculators because students might misuse them, right? We teach them when and how to use the calculators responsibly. The same applies to AI. Teaching students ethical AI use is crucial. For example, we can discuss scenarios like when it's okay to use AI for brainstorming, when students need to show their own processes and critical thinking, and why claiming AI-generated work as their own is dishonest. If we don't teach them the ethics in using such a machine, then how are they going to know? It is our responsibility to arm them with all of the knowledge that they need and the parameters from which they are to work within. Number two, I want us to focus on the process. Shift assignments from being solely about the end product to highlighting the process. As a matter of fact, if that is the case, if we are shifting from the product to the process, now we can find out where the hiccups are. Okay? For instance, have students document how they used AI to brainstorm or redefine their ideas while they're working on a math problem, or while they're generating a story plot for a narrative that they're getting ready to write. Okay? Ask them to reflect on how AI contributed to their learning. Here's an example. In a science class, instead of just submitting a research paper, students could include an AI journal describing how they used AI to research topics, what questions they asked, and how they decided what to include and what to throw out. This approach puts the focus back on critical thinking and effort because it's not about the product, it's about the process. And then here's creating AI integrated assessments. I want you to think about redesigning your assessments to integrate AI use intentionally. And this is what I mean by that. A history teacher, such as myself, might ask students to use AI to generate possible arguments for a debate and then evaluate their quality. Let's take the issue of right now, we've just finished going through Thomas Jefferson and the Louisiana Purchase. One of the assignments for my students was to discuss what if Napoleon would have backed out of the deal to sell the Louisiana Purchase to the United States. What ramifications would it have had on the United States moving forward in their quest for westward expansion? It gets them thinking. It gets them coming up with ideas and alternative answers. A language arts teacher could also have students use AI to analyze a poem and then write a critique of the analysis itself. So take a poem, maybe one by the Langston Hughes or Maya Angelou or someone, and have AI critique this poem. Now you critique what AI has critiqued. Now the kid is thinking critically. The kid is analyzing. The kid is making connections. It's all about the process and the mindset. Because these tasks make AI a tool, not a shortcut. So now let's move into some practical tips for teachers. As educators, we have the power to model how to use AI effectively and responsibly. Let's go over 3 practical ways to bring AI into your classroom in a meaningful way. The first thing is experimenting with AI tools. Try using AI yourself before you introduce it to your students. How are you going to know what it is capable of or what it's not capable of if you've never tried it yourself? It's like me trying to teach somebody how to fix a car. I'm a history teacher, not a mechanic. And if I've never done it before, I never even looked into it before, how am I going to guide someone on how to do that? So we got to take a look into using these AI tools for ourselves. Tools like ChatGPT, Grammarly, or Google's Gemini integrations are great starting points. They're great starting points. And each one of them, Grammarly, I do believe, is completely free, and the others have free options, so it doesn't cost you anything. Play around with how they generate content. Analyze the feedback that it gives you. Act as a student, giving it information, and then analyze its response for you. Once you're comfortable, bring those insights to your students. Number 2, the second way is design open-ended assignments. This is what I mean by that. Create tasks that encourage higher order thinking skills, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. For example, instead of asking students to define a historical event, ask them to argue why it was pivotal. Instead of asking my students to tell me what the 3/5 compromise is, I want them to tell me, why is it important? Why was it important for that to be done? It gets them to thinking, it gets them to looking, it gets them to researching on their own. And then rather than summarizing a book, have them write an alternative ending inspired by AI-generated ideas. It works. And number 3, let's build digital literacy into our curriculum. Teach students how to assess the quality and reliability of AI-generated content. For example, and this kind of goes back to ethical use and making sure that you teach them ethical use. But you need to discuss why AI sometimes produces inaccurate or biased information. It is important for you to stress to these students that AI is a fallible machine because it is just that, a machine. And it has biases because its information, its training models have been uploaded by humans. So quite naturally, the biases of those humans entering this information into this giant large language model may be a tad bit biased. And so that's why it's important for them to go back and reread and double check and all that kind of stuff before they can just take it and run with it. And then show them how to cross-check AI responses with credible sources. We can't just automatically think that our kids are going to know what to do. We have got to teach them how to use these tools responsibly and ethically. Now, why AI is your greatest teaching ally is this. It's not a tool for skipping effort. It's a tool for amplifying learning. It helps students ask better questions, tackle problems from new angles, and receive feedback faster than ever before. But the human element, that's irreplaceable. Teachers must guide students in navigating these tools ethically, creatively, and critically. We're not being replaced. We're being empowered to do what we do best: inspire and educate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's episode of the Miseducation of AI in Education. Remember, AI is only as effective as the way we choose to use it. It's up to us to guide our students to use these tools as partners in their learning journey. If you found today's episode helpful, hit that subscribe button and leave a review. Next week, we'll explore another big misconception. AI is only for tech-savvy teachers. Spoiler alert, if you can send an email, you can use AI. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, keep teaching, keep inspiring, and keep redefining what's possible in education. Peace.